I spent 8 years trying to build a business around my creative skills, and I failed until I learned these three things. Since I was a kid, I've always had an entrepreneurial spirit. I remember being a kid and making lawn care ads in Microsoft Paint. I didn't even have any lawn care things other than my dad's lawnmower, and I didn't even have any lawn care experience. I also remember me and my friend used to make Facebook theme pages, and we would grow them, and actually rather impressive following. I think one we grew to like 13,000 followers, which at the time seemed crazy. But it wasn't really until I got into graphic design that the idea of growing a business with something I was passionate about really started to consume me. I remember being 16 and getting my first job working under a freelance graphic designer and realizing that this is absolutely what I wanted to do with my life. I knew in those first few weeks of working with him that I was meant to make something more for myself, but nothing happened. I went the next 7 years not really making much of a business. I never had steady repeat clients. I always had to work a part-time or even a full-time job to keep my income consistent. I never really grew as a business. It felt like I knew what I wanted to do, but I was just treading water and not making any progress. And as a highly motivated and determined individual that held myself to a really high standard, it was more than frustrating for me. And on top of that, I was trying to build a business around my skill set, which made me feel like I wasn't any good at what I did. If you're watching this video, you've probably felt this way at some point in your life, or maybe you even feel this way right now. You look around on social media and around the world and you see people in your niche that are more successful than you, that have more followers than you, they're probably making more money than you, and you see what they make and what you make and you think it's just as good, or you know it's just as good, and you're sitting there asking yourself, what am I doing wrong? Why am I not seeing the success that they're seeing? Well, after about 8 years of being a creative, stuck in this loop in this business of my business not growing and not really sure why it's not growing and why I'm not making progress, I've realized these three things that have completely shifted my perspective and made my business do a complete 180 in the last year, and have absolutely set me and my business on the right course and seen immediate, results from changing this focus and mindset. The first thing, you lack focus. So what does that mean? What is focus really? I have learned that focus means having a super clear and precise vision of what your goals are and what you want to accomplish. This doesn't mean you just say to yourself, I'm gonna be rich because I'm gonna grow this graphic design agency and have a bunch of clients and make a bunch of money. This type of focus means getting super specific and asking yourself these 5 questions and being very confident and knowing exactly what the answers are to these 5 questions. The first one, what do you want? This isn't just, I want a nice apartment. This is, I want this apartment in this neighborhood, in this building that costs me this much in rent per month. Or it's, I want this car. This car is this model this year. It's gonna cost me this much money. I'm gonna put this much of a down payment is. You need to know exactly the amount. So for this example, we'll just say it's a monetary value. You need to know exactly how much money that's gonna cost. If you're just working to get rich, you're never gonna know when you have enough or what you're even trying or how close you are to your goal if you don't even know how much you need. Number 2 is, why do you want it? If there's no purpose in what you want and what you're working for, you're not gonna have true motivation and true resolve to accomplish that goal. If you just want a car to show off to people that don't care about you, you're not gonna get the damn car. You need to want the car because you love cars, you love automobiles, you're passionate about that. 3 is, when do you want it? You need to have some sort of timeline. It doesn't matter if it's a year, 5 years, 10 years, 30 years. You need to have a timeline of when you're going to accomplish your goals so you know what milestones you need to be hitting and when you need to be doing certain things. Number 4, maybe the most important thing, is what are you even gonna do to get the goal? What sort of work are you gonna do? Maybe it's working a 9 to 5 and taking your extra income and investing it and getting a good return on it. Maybe it's growing a business and selling digital products. It doesn't matter what you do to get the money. You just need to know exactly what it is you're gonna do to get the money. And number 5, probably the most overlooked one, is what will you give up for it? Everyone likes to overlook the opportunity cost, but the reality is everything comes with a cost. There has to be sacrifice made to gain something new. You don't just run into $1 million and not have to give anything up for it. Maybe it's time, maybe it's freedom, maybe it's giving up other hobbies that you enjoy. There has to be an opportunity cost with everything that you do, and oftentimes the higher the cost, the higher the reward. So if you want to make $10 billion, chances are you're going to be giving up a lot more than the person that just wants to make $1 million. If you can confidently answer those 5 questions and constantly remind yourself of those 5 questions, I can guarantee that you will be on the right path of growing your business in a more efficient way. Number 2 is you are not consistent. One of the major struggles of being an artist or being a creative is the idea that we have to create something new and original and groundbreaking every single day or every time that we create something. Because of this preconceived notion, it tends to lead artists into burnout, which then turns into lack of motivation because we feel that what we're making is not ever good enough, which then, of course, turns into complete inconsistency and only creating something when we feel motivated or have a good idea. Every time we fall out of the car, we have to go back to the start. There's no room for inconsistency when it comes to growing a business, and especially one that's surrounded by a craft or a skill set. This doesn't mean you have to give in to the bullshit hustle culture that's become so popular now. It just means that you need to acknowledge that you're not going to make something great every day, but that's not what matters. What matters is showing up every single day and creating something regardless of the quality, because it's more of a mindset game and a long haul. It's a marathon. It matters what you do over time every single day and showing up every single day rather than creating the best thing ever. And a side note on this, the better that you do step 1 and the better you answer those 5 questions, the easier it will be for you to do step 2 and to remain consistent, because when you know what you need to do every single day, it makes it a lot easier to do those things every single day. Number 3, and probably a hot take for a lot of creatives, you're not actually busy. This might upset a lot of people, but looking back, this was by far, without a doubt, my number 1 issue. You haven't done shit. I hadn't done shit. Just because you're good at something does not mean that someone is just going to mindlessly throw money at you. You believing that is just stunting your own growth. When you act like you just deserve something because you're good at it, you're only stopping yourself from growing and learning. You need to swallow your ego and just get to work and put your head down. It's cool to be the broke kid that grinds at his craft because he has the resolve and the confidence that he's going to accomplish something better for himself. If you're worried about what certain people think about you because of this, then you shouldn't be worried about them at all, and you shouldn't even be thinking about them. You should be surrounding yourself with people that see what you're doing and think it's dope and don't judge you for it, because they see the potential and they see the confidence and the motivation in you. One of my favorite artists, Jay-Z, said the only way you blow is by letting your shit bubble quietly and then you blow. Yeah, that is a very corny line from a song that is 25 years old, but it is wildly true. The truth is, with social media nowadays, you might see someone that looks like they're popping off and they have all this money and they're so successful, but in reality, the people that are really grinding and really working at what they want aren't going to share it with you on the internet. They're just gonna be working in the quiet until it speaks for itself. Stop talking about what you're going to do and just fucking do it. Don't be the kid that posts a picture in clothes he can't afford at his hometown bar with the caption, "Big things are coming." If you're constantly working on your craft, big things are happening now. So these 3 things are not going to make you a millionaire tomorrow, and they're not even gonna show you how to become a millionaire, but they are going to put you on the right direction and give you the right mindset of someone that can and has the potential to build a long-lasting, steady, and efficient business. If you follow all these rules or mindset changes and you're creative and you're still having an issue with burnout and lack of inspiration or motivation, then you should watch this video and I talk all about it and how to avoid it.